Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara,
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
and we are back today for another recap of Raising Kanan. This is season 4, episode 5, titled The Nail That Sticks Up. Not sure what they mean by that, but we're going to talk more about the episode right after we let y'all know all the house cleaning for the channel. So please make sure you go ahead and subscribe, first of all, and click that notification bell so you get alerted every time we post. Also, like the video and drop down in the comments and express your thoughts on this episode as well. It always helps for you guys to, let your friends and family know about the Spot Real Talk so our channel can continue to grow, and follow us on all of our social media platforms at the Spot Real Talk. So, house cleaning aside, we got a lot to talk about for this episode. We talked last week about how this is the mid-season episode, and so things are getting turned up a little bit. And so a lot of this episode kind of focused on Famous. And that was the big question that we had when we were recapping last week. Like, where is Famous? Is he out in California with Jess? Is he on the run? Is he injured or hurt or dead or something? Like, we were just like, what's going on with him? Well, this week we got a little bit of backstory on Famous. It opens up with this domestic violence situation going on in the home when Famous was a little bit younger, and how Famous his mom was in a tough situation, I guess, with his father, and they ended up in a shelter. And so, like, there's all of these little flashbacks that are kind of filling us in on details surrounding Famous's upbringing, and of course, like, it's going flashing forward to the future as well, where the mom is at the police station and she's kind of looking for Famous, and he's been missing for 3 months, and basically the cops are writing her off like, I don't know, he's a fugitive, ask his friend Kanan. And I was really disappointed with the police's response. I'm gonna say that officer gets the hands.
But a lot of times because she is a person of color. And
Mm-hmm.
she said, "You told me to come back in 5 days. Then you told me to come back in 3 weeks." And all this, like, who does that? Like,
Yeah.
they wouldn't have done that to anybody else.
Mm-mm. Yeah, so I he gets the hands for that. Um, but then of course mom actually does go to Kanan, and of course Kanan, he's saying, why would the cops tell you to come to me? Like, I don't know anything. And he was letting moms know what people on the street are saying about maybe he left on his own. But I thought it was interesting how Kanan vowed to help her. Kanan and Jukebox were kind of like, yeah, we'll help you try to look for him and figure out what's going on. And I was like, okay. So I know that Kanan and Famous had some tension last season, to say the least. But this episode really showed me just how much Kanan really cared for Famous, because he was dogging him out last season. And so
Mhm.
I was kind of questioning whether he really had that friendship type vibe with him or not. But this episode really revealed that he still has some, a soft spot for him.
Oh,
He
they're
was,
like brothers.
yeah, because I think the biggest problem Kanan had with Famous last season was where's your heart? It didn't seem like his heart was in it,
Mm-hmm.
and he really wasn't, speaking or telling the truth, if you will, to Kanan. Kanan couldn't figure him out. So I think that's where the anger from Kanan came from, because he says, "Hey, just let me know, you're in, you're out, what's going on." My beef with that cop is, he's the one that sick his mother on Kanan, talking about, if you really want to know what happened to your son, check out Kanan. And, you know, you already tried beating Kanan up, and now you're going to do that. So, yeah, I'm with you on the hands list. He can get a
Mm-hmm.
hand and a foot, because, he's just all over Kanan for no reason at all. He knows nothing other than maybe what he knows about the family, but, I don't know. He's
Yeah.
he's not on my good Samaritan list.
No, yeah, no, he wasn't. He wasn't. And he remember he was saying that Famous was a fugitive.
Yeah.
Like, he
Mm-hmm.
just assumed that he was running and stuff. And she was like, "No, your mom confirmed that he was cooperating." And see, mom put Famous in that predicament too,
Yeah,
because
she did.
she, the gun, she, convinced Famous to snitch and stuff like that. And yeah, she put him in that predicament. Um, I think, going back to Kanan about how he felt about Famous, they're like brothers, like, good friends. People are like brother and sister and stuff. People you grew up with. Sometimes you have falling out, and this, that, and the other and stuff. But if something happened to that person, you're gonna be there. You're gonna ride for them and stuff. And I noticed that when Kanan was talking to Famous mom, he was like, listen, we're gonna find Famous. And he said, and if anything happened to him, we gonna look for them. So I was like,
Yep.
I heard him loud and clear. So we already know what's coming. That's
Yeah.
foreshadowing that I believe that Kanan and Juke are gonna be hitting the street. They're gonna be running down for somebody.
Yeah, out to avenge him.
Yeah. And I don't particularly blame his mother. I mean, his mother, basically what she was trying to do is protect her son, thinking that the police would do so. Unfortunately, she doesn't know how police matters work
at all, clearly.
And so,
because
I mean, no, you think the police not in the hood. That's the thing. Y'all live in the hood, and I get that. Natural law and order. You think you can go to the police, but when you live in the hood,
all bets are off.
When you go to the police, that's like signing a death warrant. Exactly. If you get seen with the police and you may not be snitching, like wire fans. That's how Bodie got killed. He wasn't even snitching, but he was seen with the police, and the word hit the street, and they unalived him. So that's the thing. I was like, she put him in a tough predicament by, convincing him to snitch and stuff. And you see what it was all in the streets, because Kanan was saying, everybody saying they talking. It's the first episode, or the episode that Marv picked up Lou. What Lou said. I mean, what Marv said. Yeah, they say Famous talking. So it was all over the street. The streets know what happened before anybody.
And when you're in the ghetto, you can be in the witness protection program. That's like putting your stuff right out on blast. I mean, you might as well write an email to everybody and say, I did it. Because, everybody's going to know your story, because you just don't get protections like that. But
streets always know.
Yeah. I feel sorry, Famous. Rest in peace, my brother.
I mean, let's talk about how we find that Famous is dead. So there's this kid who is stealing from a corner store, and he gets chased out by the owner, and he's running through an alleyway and stops dead in his tracks as he sees this like arm or leg hanging out from under a mattress in the alley. And they go to slowly lift up this mattress, and the boy just starts throwing up everywhere, like at the sight of this body. And so that's how we discover that Famous has really been murdered, clearly, and tossed aside as if he were trash. So the thought of what you guys are saying about the streets being the first to know if you ratting, and, the sentiment towards people that rat, it seems like his death could be tied to that.
Been talking about that. I'm wondering. I tried to pull it out of London when we were interviewing, because I said, I heard you say something about Famous. And I was like, is that foreshadowing? And of course, he gave me nothing about that. But I was saying that because in the trailer, they're gonna show it. We're gonna eventually find out how Famous got killed and who killed him. And for all we know, it could be Freddie's people. The guy that he killed. It could be him. But the person, at some point, this out. He said in that trailer, he said the guy that had the gun on Famous in the trailer, he had a ring that looked just like Marvin's. So I was like, please don't tell me that Raq had Marvin kill him. That better not be so. That better not be so. But but we know Rock, she did it before, and we know that Lou ain't gonna do it. So who gonna do it?
Yeah. And then with the way that Kanan obviously felt about Famous's death, we seen him crying. He was hurt, like
Balled up
real
in the
hurt.
night.
Yeah. And if you listen to the voiceover, you know that he was saying like there ain't no response to this. Like he was basically saying like it is what it is. Like I'm hurt. I'm crying about this one. This was a
Yeah,
tough. And so I was like, okay, wow. It hit Kanan real hard. And with him vowing to Famous's mom that we gonna get whoever did this, if it turns out to be his own family that did it, would that alter his plan?
Woo! Well,
I think that
listen,
would separate them even more.
even more. Like
Right.
he already got issues with Rock, and
Exactly.
if she did that again after she
Right.
already made that call with D Wiz,
Oh my
he's
gosh.
really done. He's really
Yeah. Yeah. So it sucks to find out that Famous is gone. He was a big part of this show and he will be missed. I guess the streets needed a body and they got one. So R.I.P. to Famous.
Mm-hmm. It's the 411.
Now if did you guys have anything else on that topic on the Famous situation?
Oh, I just was sad. I was sad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had high hopes that he was just out in Cali somewhere.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, no.
he's in a better place.
Huh?
He's in a better place.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Not in the alley.
Not the
That
alley.
ain't a better place.
His soul, his spirit is in a better place. The body's gone.
Yeah, we're gonna find out. I thought about Unique too. I was like, did he have it? I was like, nah.
I don't think so.
It's either Freddie's people or Rockin' them had something to do with it.
Yeah, well, speaking of rocking them, Rock got her own issues going on because there's still a lot of fallout from all of these shootings happening within her organization. And so basically Rock is sending Marvin. The first they go and check Terry's homeboy, and they basically talking about him withholding product from being distributed and how it's messing up their money. And so Rock basically told Marvin to continue to go around and press everybody and let them know. She said press, but don't press too hard because we still got to work with them.
Yeah, Marvin doesn't know what that means.
And what does Marvin go do?
he does not know.
He might have been justified this time.
Yeah. Because Terry said he was gonna snitch. He was like, I don't care what you do, you can tell. Da, da, da. He said, I'm gonna tell on you and your sister and stuff. Like, he wasn't. He said, you pushing it.
Yeah.
Said, when I saw how angry Marvin was getting, I was like, uh-oh.
What
did we say about snitches, though?
I mean,
what did we just say about snitches?
And what is it with these characters? They keep writing their own death contracts. I mean, shut your mouth. Don't you realize who you're talking to? And you just going to escalate it by saying that you don't care. You're going to snitch on the whole family. Come on, man.
When he snatched the lollipop out his mouth.
Yeah, it was done. It was done.
And the way his face, I said, oh, Lord. I was like, shut up, Terry.
Yep.
Shut up.
Yep, he's done. He is.
Yeah.
And he wanted to make sure he was done too, because I don't know, he hit him with what, 5 bullets or something?
A couple of them. He caught a few hot ones.
Yeah, he did. See,
you weren't coming back from that, my man.
See, but he ain't going to anger management no more, so.
Right.
He ain't doing them breathing exercises anymore, so.
Not at all.
Yeah, so that is going to 100% that's going to be a problem for Rock. She's going to be pissed because I specifically told you not to do this and you turned around and did it. But I mean, Rock is kind of already, she has a backup plan in motion. She went, well, first of all, she went to Quan, and Quan basically called out Rock for coming up short because she was paying the old price and not the new price that he had set. And he was bad mouthing her organization, talking about how she's messy and how people in her organization are constantly getting killed. And he says, basically, I respected Unique more because he was a man of his word. And I was like, oh, he really getting a lot of stuff off his chest today. And, basically said, he's reneged on his price. And he isn't a man himself. You know, how you talking about being a man of your word and you going back on your price that you set?
I was like, get him, Rock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but when he started going in on her parenting, I was like, oh,
that's another that's another death contract. I mean, Rock walked out of there with every intent to get rid of Quan.
it
Oh
might
yeah.
not come now, but
Oh,
she's
it's
It-
setting
coming.
up her
right.
revenge.
We may not see
Yeah.
it this next coming episode, but Quan is out.
Well,
Yeah,
she
I
gotta.
mean, in more ways than one, because he's
Yeah,
not supplying her anymore.
right.
Well, she
But
gotta
he
go at.
might soon be out.
And she has no need for him.
She
And
gotta go
Yeah.
at Kanan because Kanan out here going behind her back. Like, see,
and we
Yeah.
see,
yeah.
and he told her that. So now what does she do? You know, in fact, she has more incentive now to take Quan out because now you're messing with my son, and I got enough problems with him.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now you're messing with my son.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to go, bro. You got
Well,
to.
the thing is, she has to be very methodical about how she approaches this, because when she went to go and meet with the new supplier, he was basically saying, "I want to meet all your other partners or whatever." But his biggest concern were the territorial issues,
Mm-hmm.
and how much heat is on and attention is on her organization right now. And so if she goes out here and starts some more mess with Quan, that's going to further detract this new guy away from her, because he's like, okay, like, you got too much going on.
Well, she can already have problems because and I don't know. I don't want to jump too far
No,
ahead, but
go ahead, go there, because I
the fact that Unique is back and they link,
yep,
they gonna run down on Rock
And the
yep,
fact that
because
Unique met up with Quan.
yeah,
So,
that's what I'm talking about.
yep,
yeah.
That's what I'm talking
So,
about. The fact that he linked up with Quan and he was just he tried to go over the bridge and talk to the Italians and the dude was like, "You don't have anything ordered. You don't have a squad."
mm-hmm,
He's gonna have a squad now because
yep,
um Quan rocks with him. And that's one of the things that's funny because I was just like, Quan don't rock with with Rock. And I was like, is it just because he's a woman? And my son was like, it's that, and he was like, it's the Unique thing. She said, and sure enough, when it came out, when he said, you don't have any honor, and the way you just before you just body, he was like, I told you it was about Unique. So it was twofold: the fact that she was a woman, the fact that he rocked with Unique, and it looked like she was you know,
being
foul.
a
Like
snake, yeah,
soon as she thought he was gone and alive, she stepped in his place. So he didn't respect that either.
yeah. I mean, it's a lot going on with that Rock situation, and like you said, with I'm gonna give Unique a little kudos this episode, because, like you said, he went to the Italians. He was trying to make his move. They straight up dismissed him, and then he was like, you know what? I got a backup plan. Like, he is quick on his feet, and where most people might have just gave in and been like, yeah, this is it. I don't got no moves in my cards that I've been dealt just ain't no good. He finds another way to reshuffle the deck. And I'm like, Unique is he's creative. He's resourceful.
but the thing is,
Well,
he kind of, it started, the way you were talking to that Italian, I forget his name, the Italian guy. First, you were
Mm-hmm.
running off your mouth, kind of disrespecting him. I understand you were a little heated, but when you got nothing, you don't have a crew, you don't have any money, and you're trying to get back in, sometimes a little humble pie might taste good. So, but you running off the mouth like you still some kind of kingpin, and do set him straight. Say you're nothing. You're
Mm-hmm.
absolutely not, and you're coming to me, and you got nothing. And he
Yeah.
said, go out and reestablish yourself, then come back.
Well,
mm-hmm.
that's not the only thing he told him, because Unique was going off about how Rock kind of set him up, or was trying to kill him, and the guy was like, "Nah, my people in the streets ain't saying
They
nothing
said,
Yeah,
like that."
you heard
yeah,
that.
he
And
was like,
Unique was kind of like, "How would you know about what's going on in my streets?" And he like, "Trust me, I got people. I got my ears in
yeah,
all the
And
neighborhoods."
that's straight up disrespect. Why would you not think he doesn't know what's going on in your borough? Why would you not think that?
because that's not where he's from. Yeah, yeah. He assumed that, but he said you don't get to where I am
Right.
without
Without
Going
knowing.
right, exactly.
And that should have kind of confirmed something for him, though, that maybe he's on the wrong warpath. Because, like, here he is with this vendetta against Rock because of the way things look, like the move she made after his so-called death. But really, you don't have anything to confirm that but your own suspicions. And so here this guy is saying like, nah, I don't think that's it. And you don't even give that a second thought. You kind of like just brush it off and dismiss it. I was like, if somebody
Well,
told me that, I would at least kind of consider a little bit that like, okay, maybe things might not be what they seem.
Well, I
well,
mean,
he has cause to suspect Raq because before he passed, she said she was out the game, and so then he comes back and Raq is and not only in the game, she didn't took over his Chinese spot. She didn't took over to connect with Quan. She was Stefano. Like it's on the outside looking in, you gonna be like, wait a minute. She said she was out the game, and she hooked up with all my connects. That's so
I understand.
it looks suspect.
It looks very suspect.
You were grass food or supposedly grass food, and why not take over your position? Everybody thought you were dead. I mean, that wasn't an inclination Raq had. Everyone thought you were dead. So why would you sit on that product on his on his situation? Why not move in? Because if you don't move in, somebody else will. So yeah, take what's there because you're more readily able to take over it than anyone else. And it's a quick grab. It's a you have
The
to just
opportunity was there.
it's an opportunity. So you can't miss that. What I'm saying about unique, you even thought you were dead. So I mean, come on now. What would you have done, unique,
It's ego
if the
too
shoe?
because
Well, but my point is, you were supposed to be dead. And what would you have done if the shoe were on the other foot? You would have done the same thing.
listen, I think and because he had the head injury, it looks bad. It looks bad
Yeah, but that
because not only because of that, but because Ronnie was the one that tried to kill him. But then when he walks in a warehouse, who there? Like Ronnie's dead. You know, he saw when he, no, you saw that Early was giving him the all the the details from the street and everything, and letting him know that Kanan was running with Ronnie and stuff like that. Kanan is Raq's son. So he like, wait a minute. So he probably like, all this time,
She's been
my
praying.
brother set me up. Raq might have put him up to it, and then she could have put him down after that. Like she snaked everybody because he keeps talking about like none of us heard about what she really did to High Post, but he
Yeah.
keeps saying that she snakes all
Snake.
of the men that she's been with. So he's like, so I think a lot of it is ego. Like I fell for it. I fell for it. He really had feelings for her because when we interviewed Joey Badass, he confirmed he really did have feelings for her. So he's like, I was feeling this chick. She told me she's out the game. And as soon
And
as
got
she said
I would have gone to her, and I mean like in a surprise method. I would have snuck, I mean, I would not have called and say, "Hey, let's meet up." I would have been at your front doorstep because in that situation, you're so surprised to see me. Chances are you're not that quick on your feet to lie, and I would start asking the tough questions right then and there. Why'd you take over my spot? And let's see what she says. The first thing she's going to say is, "I thought you were dead. Everyone thought you were dead. So why not take over your
she was
spot?"
out the game now.
Yeah, well, but I mean, look, I get back in the game if there's a spot open like that. I mean, it's not like, she was getting out of the game for a multitude of things. But here's this spot that opens up that has your name written all over it. So why not
Yeah.
jump into it?
I understand. Unique, I think he is very justified in thinking, going along with, okay, all this stuff seems to line up. But I would at least consider the alternative. He's
Yeah,
not, he's got a one-track mind right
one
now.
track.
And so I was like, I would at least take into consideration what's being talked about with some of these higher ups that have their ear to the street.
And
Um,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I venture to say he's more angry at losing everything than he is with Raq.
Yeah, that too. That's a big part of it. And it
That
doesn't really help the situation that first of all, this money that he's been dropping in his baby mama's mailbox,
Hmm.
now that's coming back to bite Raq too, because she is thinking that Raq is doing it out of guilt for killing Unique. And I'm like, Lord, it's just Unique is the gift that keeps giving.
Running up on Raq. She already got smacked down last season. And that's what I said. I was like, you stop doing that.
Yeah. She got a lot of gall, a lot of audacity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the other thing that Unique kind of has going for him is this OC situation.
Man.
Didn't we say the OC was playing both sides?
We said it. Yeah, OC definitely hopped into Unique's car. I mean, he didn't really have a choice because Unique was like, get in. And OC ain't, but so big to kind of ward Unique off. So
his shortcomings are really short. I mean, look, he's a little man too. And I get it. You're afraid, not a problem, but I
it don't take nothing to get information out of him because he just spilled it.
Right. I don't even think he touched him. Even when he broke into Kanan's crib, what episode or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if he had to beat him up or anything. It didn't look like he did. He probably he was a singing bird. He started singing the moment Unique walked in. I don't know what I would do, but I think if I were OC, I think I'm not sure. I think I might have said something to Kanan.
It's if he says something to Kanan, then you really in trouble because Kanan can't. I mean, he's not going to hold that information.
Here's one thing I know for sure: when Unique is done with you, he's gonna put a bullet in your head.
That too, yeah. And I think, but the thing is, I don't think OC has any context to that relationship. He doesn't understand the history with Unique and that family, and especially not with Kanan and Raq and that whole deal. So it's like, maybe to OC, it's just this gangster rolling up on me.
But he knows the gangster. But I don't know if he knows Unique's act. I don't know if he knows that Unique is Unique or does it is just some dude.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He don't have no context.
I don't
to the
think
situation.
Okay, and so if that's the case, then yeah, I guess. But see, how long can you play this game though? Because one of them is going to take you out.
OC is going to listen, and I don't know this for sure, but when I saw Kanan, when found out, look, all this time I thought OC was stealing. It's Kanan. Kanan is skimming off the top.
Exactly.
Kanan is stealing the money and putting it away in the trunk. And the first thing I thought about. Yeah, the first thing I thought about was Snowfall. Because remember when Peaches ran off with Franklin's money? I said, watch OC follow Kanan or whatever. OC or Unique or whatever. Somebody gonna find out, either OC or Unique, find out about that spot and they gonna rip Kanan off and bounce.
Well, OC knows that he's ripping him, that he's skimming off the top. So it wouldn't be, I mean, how big a deal would it be if Kanan is putting away money while OC is there? So, and the question then becomes, what would OC do? Would he take that money or try to take it?
What I said.
Either OC or Unique. One of the two.
I think he's gonna take the money. I think he's gonna follow him because he said to Unique, he was like, "Excuse me, Kanan is stealing." He said, "I don't know what for yet or whatever and stuff." So I think he's gonna watch Kanan, probably follow him, or whatever to see because it looks like Kanan got a storage spot. And he gonna probably figure it out, and he probably gonna rob him and get ghosts.
I don't know because that chest of money was bigger than OC is, so he's gonna need some help moving that chest.
He gonna need some help.
But that's why I said, I don't know if I were OC, it's like 6 in one hand, 6 deaths in one hand, half a death in another, or what do you do?
Skip town.
Because look,
that's what I think is gonna happen.
He has to, because let's just say if it works out as you said, Tiff, that he follows Kanan, he sees that the money's there, he tells Unique, Unique breaks in, steals the money. There's only one person that could have been responsible for that, and Kanan is not going to ask twice.
Yeah, he's in a lose-lose situation. Either Kanan gonna kill you or Unique gonna kill you.
Listen,
right. And what can you say to Kanan? Yeah, if you're told the truth, you're dead. And if you try to lie, you're dead.
I think he's gonna bounce. I think it's gonna be a Peaches and Franklin situation. I think he's gonna find out about the money. He's gonna try to take the money and bounce. And I think Kanan gonna be on the prowl looking for OC.
OC also told about the beef that Raq had with Quan too. So that was how, Unique knew to go to Quan in the first place. So OC is really causing a lot of damage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
He
yeah,
he's on my
he
hands list.
he's on my hands
yeah,
list
yeah.
too,
A
for
little butt,
sure.
little self.
Yeah. So
Oh, man.
yeah, Kanan is tripping on that regard with stealing the money. So I'm thinking he up for the hands list too.
Yeah, but you got to be
Hmm.
true to your that first boss. That first, you got to be true to Canaan. Because if Canaan had known that some dude, well, if Canaan had known that he was meeting with some dude, and then he could at least set up with Canaan the next time they meet or whatever, you know, and say, okay, this is the guy. Canaan would see that it's unique. Then he could go back and tell, Raq, and the situation could be handled because obviously he's trying to move in.
Mm-hmm.
But you playing the fence, I mean, it's like having two big pit bulls on either side of the fence, and you're straddling the fence. No matter which way you jump, you're dead.
Yeah,
At
we gonna
least let
pray
me go
for.
with the dog I know. Let me go there. Let me go with
Yeah,
the dog I know, because the dog I don't know.
it's worse. Exactly. So, I wanted to switch it up now and talk a little bit about this blooming romance between Imani and Lou,
Mm.
because
Mhm.
she worked her magic this week. Lou really was not feeling her last episode, and it ain't take too much to change his mind.
Yep.
Um, so Imani takes him to this hip hop showcase, and he's pretty much there watching all the artists come on stage, but he's thinking most of them are whack. But then Imani kind of impresses him later on in the episode with this rap group, the Drawdown Disciples, and I was like,
Mhm.
okay, they actually were pretty dope.
And
So
they
I
were
was like,
good.
I see why Lou was like, oh, okay, so you do actually have this kind of ear for finding talent,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
it seemed like he was looking for her to add credibility to herself, because he was really doubting, who is this girl to be partnered up with me. I think he felt maybe a little bit insulted that the executive would pair him with somebody else, as if he wasn't already qualified enough. But
Hmm.
I think Imani kind of showed that she is qualified and that she kind of deserves a spot, being next to him. And they really could make a really good partnership, from
Hmm.
what I'm seeing.
Hmm.
But Imani is a trip, though. She is
Yeah,
very forward.
Monty. Yeah, she is. Look, and that's how she got the spot she got. But
You can't
yeah,
mix
like dudes.
that. Business and pleasure never works out.
Yeah,
The
And
part that
well,
I'm like, you
and
probably made a mistake there.
and I think, Imani, she put it on strong. She wore my brother. Well, anyways, I don't want to get into that, but she put on pretty strong with him. So, and I don't know if Lou can accept another hurt. So it's going to be interesting what happens if, you know, it's a double cross. I
I
don't know. I
I
don't
hope
know,
not.
I
but
was gonna ask y'all about that and how y'all felt about her motives, because it's clear she got some motives.
she's got
It
something up.
seems like I can't tell whether she's trying to be genuine or not, but and then the other side of that is, because you were sent by an executive from the label, like,
Hmm.
that kind of adds a layer of shadiness too. Like, are you
Yeah,
trying to get like the inside scoop of what I got going on? Like, are they
well, it
trying
could be
to?
both. It could be both business and pleasure.
Well, I'm sure it is. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with a little pleasure with
Right, right,
business. I
right.
mean,
That's what I
but
said.
if you keep it in context, but the problem is they went for it. So,
Well,
and
Imani
Lorette,
actually. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say Imani kind of stepped out of what I expected of her, because like I thought that maybe she was just in it to get her pleasure and keep it
That's what I
moving
thought.
with the
Right.
business.
She
But when
didn't
she
quit.
asked about Jess, he
Hmm.
was like, "Are you done with Jess?" And I'm like, "Why do you care?" First of all, and
But
then
she
Lou was surprised
wants
because
some
he like,
more.
"Why are you doing research on me?
But he
You
said
could have
anything you
came
want to know, just ask me. So
right."
after that, like, so I was like, okay. So I was like, but he seemed like he was interested in her too. Um,
Well, she
I
did
would have
come
been
out,
side eyeing her
but
after the
she did come
Jess.
out first with not these words exactly, but she normally hits it and quits it. And so, and he kind of asked, "Is that what he is?" And so they got into this little discussion about relationships and yada. And then she brought up his ex, but I just don't like you said. I just feel like there's another part to her that we're not seeing, but we've seen it before. It's nothing new about what she did, but is she a black widow?
Mm,
We'll see.
yeah,
I
I
just I
think
don't
there's
know
more
that I
to
heard
her
it
than what
quite
we
like that.
seeing.
Yeah, I think because she said something you know, about having brothers come over there to check out her record collection. And then she
Hmm.
said something about, but it's been a while.
Well, she did say that.
Yeah, she
She
said
did say
that.
that.
So, and then he said, been a
It's
while
been
for me
about him.
too. I was like, okay, so maybe
And
there'll be more of a connection instead of just
but unless they're going in the same direction, it's not going to work. And if she's being pulled in another direction while trying to hook up with Lou, it's not going to work.
listen, all them brothers dangerous because straight bullets, all that. Like poor
Yeah.
Renee, I was thinking, Marv might have a connection with Renee, and Renee got off because they were looking for. So I'm just like the family
Collateral damage.
Oh
collateral
yeah.
damage. So
Yeah, they're very
we'll
toxic.
see.
Very
We'll
toxic.
see how that works out. But it was interesting about the groups because you said the whatever disciples, what they call
A
Right.
drawdown
Draw down
disciple.
drawdown
disciples.
disciples. I was like, oh, these like the wannabe Wu Tang. That's what I was thinking about. I was like, oh, the wannabe Wu Tang. And then
That's what it was given.
when I saw the white guy with the glasses, I said, oh, this the wannabe MC Search.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I was
Yeah,
like, okay, okay.
and Imani did mention something else that made me want think that there's more to her because she talked about the white boy and how his mom is a lawyer and she was trying to sign him, but it could be tricky because of the mom being a lawyer or whatever. But she was like, "Oh yeah, we went to Brown together. I'll work it out."
hmm
I was like, "Oh okay."
Ivy
She
League.
there's more to her.
Yeah.
How does she plan to work it out? Because they went to school together. What do you think?
That's a connection.
Well, it's a connection, but
It-
it seemed to me she tried before and it didn't quite work out, or she attempted
no,
to
I
Well,
mean,
she
try to
might not
others.
have attempted. She
it
might
may
know
not.
somebody that did attempt, and then maybe
Yeah,
they
yeah,
gave
yeah.
her the
She may
scoop,
not.
like, "Oh yeah, she's difficult." Maybe the mom is known to be difficult when dealing with her sons,
Listen,
signing and stuff.
you can, on the school tip, you went there to Howard. I know I've connected with people on school and got discounts, favors, and stuff like. Oh, you went to. I went to.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I get it.
Yeah, so
I get it.
maybe, but I got my eye on Imani still. I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
about her
yeah.
yet.
We watching the money.
The jury is still out.
We watching the money. But I,
All right.
but I don't know. I can't blame him money though. I mean, Lou is cute.
Lord have mercy.
Right. I'm not mad at her.
I
No,
ain't mad at Lou either. I
we
mean, come
ain't
on
mad.
now.
We ain't mad
We
at the
are
money.
not mad at what went down. I'm just simply saying, how long can it last? Because
That's the part.
and
Well,
is
first of all, I'm like, as long as Lou ain't being out here in the booze and stuff, like Lou is trying to get his act together. He's trying to, sign Be Rilla and get Be Rilla hot in the streets and stuff. If he got a little boo on the side and that keeps him out away from the bottle, I'm not mad at it. As long as
Right.
she ain't fine.
Hmm.
well, let's just hope she doesn't have a bottle with his name on it.
Mm. Yeah, that's true. So we're gonna have to keep our eye on that situation.
Mhm.
I want to switch and talk about Mara now because Mara basically straight up came out to Juke and asked, "Did you kill my husband?" Because it was mighty convenient that I gave you the address, and then a few days later, after this incident, my man is dead.
Pretty
And
simple.
Juke lied with a straight face.
A
Straight face.
straight face.
I was like, oh, Juke is in her villain era.
And I
She
mean,
even act like she was offended that she would ask her such a thing.
I think that right there was
I
the
didn't kill
catalyst.
anybody.
That's the catalyst that opens up Jukebox, the one we know from Power. So it's interesting the way she lied tomorrow. But Mara, put two and two together, sweetie. I mean, it was what, a couple days after, whatever it was, and your husband winds up dead. Yeah, it was. She knew about it, but then again, my thought was, what are you so upset for in the first place? This man was
She
Well,
said she wasn't. She said that
she
well,
she
said
been
she was
sleeping for a
relieved.
long time.
yeah,
She was
but
relieved.
it was the way she asked the question, with all this. I don't know.
I think it's because maybe she's interested in Juke. Honestly, like the way
I
that,
thought she was in the beginning.
yeah, and to think that, like, I don't know if maybe she's intrigued by that and she wanted to know the truth, or if she's frightened by that and she's like,
Yeah,
I'm interested, but I might want to back
Well,
off.
she appeared more
exactly. Right.
frightened. She did, but I mean,
She
the
did look frightened.
urgency in her question, in the question, kind of gave me the idea that she might have been frightened. But yeah, still, hold on to that card, sweetie, because it would be, what a coincidence that your husband winds up dead
Hmm.
after that fiasco. So
Well, she would be right to be frightened because the
Yes.
way that Juke was talking with Marvin when he was asking, like, are
I
you
was about to
affected
go
by
there.
this? Are you affected by taking a life? Whatever. And she was basically saying, like, we did a good thing by killing this man.
she said like she had a pork chop. I mean, I'm like, okay, I see where this is going. This is the catalyst that wakes up, that one body, now multiple bodies will
Multiple
follow.
bodies.
Marvin said, I'm worried that you got comfortable killing while you was in the
Exactly.
army.
Yeah, but that was a funny line to me because she said, "If I'm comfortable killing, it's not because of
Because
the
of the army.
military." And I was
Exactly.
like, "That's funny you saying that, Marv. When the whole family dropping bodies all over New York, and you think it's the military that got you comfortable?"
It's in her DNA.
That's
It's in
exactly
our
right.
DNA. I'm
Exactly
like, it's
right.
y'all.
I
But
was like, Juke is cold hearted now. Ain't no stopping her.
but speaking of bodies, Marvin's mom,
Yes, I was going
she
there
asked,
next.
"Oh my God!" Now, you know, okay, that right there, that's the scene. That right there got me because on the one hand, you don't want to see your mother suffer any longer than she has to, but then on the other hand, she's forcing you to kill her or unalive her, if you pardon me, and A, it's illegal, and B, you're asking him and putting this on him. You build him up and say, Rock wasn't treating you like the man you are, and
Hmm.
you're building him up and everything, and then you hit him over the head with a frying pan. Kill me.
Yeah, and then basically tells him that he can't do it, and she berates him after the fact that he can't do it.
Sorry,
I'm
Marv.
like,
Sorry. And that made me rethink what I was saying about Marv. Because I said, now I understand why he did what he did with Stefano. Because it goes back to what he said in his interview when I asked him about why he was working with Stefano. And he said Stefano was praising him
Hmm.
about the and he said nobody ever showed Marvin love like they said. Rock don't never give him any recognition. So that's what drew him to that. And when I heard the way his mother was talking to him like that, I said, "Oh, she been doing that
But
yeah, this is
to
deep
him and
seated
stuff.
with him.
the only
This is
thing is,
deep seated, and that's why he went that direction with Stefano.
I can understand that. I mean, but he's always been a hired hand. I mean, if dirty work had to be done, it was Marvin. So, it's really nothing great about that. She's never really put him in position to build the business or anything like that. He's just been the hired hand, as we see
Hmm.
all over the place. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the question is, what does he do now? Once she said what she said, does he go back and make good on her request, or does he leave it alone?
Well, it
I
seems
think he'll
like
go back.
she's in private home now. She's not at the hospital,
Not
so it
us.
would be a lot easier to go back and finish the
Yes.
deed.
But,
But
an overdose
it
of
will,
morphine.
yeah, it's gonna look very, very
Yeah. Listen.
shaky,
Yeah.
shady.
Yeah, it would be. But then again, I mean, maybe no autopsy would be done because of her condition. But I think he'll go back and answer her request. I do think that. Marvin
But
is a
then
sensitive guy.
you gotta live with that on your conscience that you killed your own mother. Like,
But I
now
think
that's
that,
enough to change somebody too.
but I think if,
Marvin will really be rogue.
but if you look, I think that, and I wouldn't know, and thankfully, thank God, I've never been placed in this situation. But I think if you knew someone was that ill, and every time they woke up and opened their eyes, they were in pain, excruciating pain, and you knew they were dying anyways. Um, I don't know.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't want it on my conscience, and I wouldn't want the police after me because whether she asked or not, like you said, it's still a crime.
It's still a crime. Well, I mean, he's in the
So,
crime business anyway. So, I mean,
yeah, but your
I
own
don't think
mother.
I was gonna say I don't think I have the heart to do it. I sympathize because I wouldn't want Ron to suffer and everything, but I don't know that I could bring myself to do it. So I understood why he
yeah.
punked out.
And I can understand that it may take weeks before he could do such a thing. But if you're visiting her and you see her, and I mean, like she was on morphine in the hospital when she asked, and the
Hmm.
morphine just wasn't helping. And she said just how much pain she was in. And as you know, Tiff, that's I, man, it's a coin I would not want to have to flip.
Listen, I know, I know, and that's why I know I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
and it's
coin I wouldn't
interesting
want.
that she asked Marvin too, because she could have asked Kanan or Jukebox or anybody else. Why Marvin?
Because he's
You see,
sensitive. And she
yeah,
knows that he's sensitive.
yeah,
Yeah, he has the right tools to do what he does for a living, but at the same time we see the sensitivity in Marvin. So
yeah,
if you were
yeah.
going to ask anybody, that would be the person to ask.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because it,
Yeah,
that and you see, Rock ain't even show up.
yeah, she was. And Marvin was like, he showed up, but I mean, sorry, Lou showed up, but he was like, I'm not taking care of her.
He was
Yeah,
like, no, he said, I'll be back in the bottle in 3 minutes.
yeah.
He was like, nah. He said, but he's I mean, hopefully I get some credit for showing up. So I was like, dang, she been awful to these kids. They talking like that. But at least he did show up. Marvin came and he was still like you can see he was fixing the bed. He was still trying to cater to her, make sure she get and when he gave her the water, she's like, it's not room temperature. So okay, I'll get some more water. Like, Rock ain't even answered the page.
Yeah. And you know what? I understand why now because we've seen Mom in the past and how she is, but the way she tore Marvin down this episode, she got to get the hand, she got to get the feet, she got to get stomped out because Grandma was dead wrong.
Grandma was dead wrong. But I'm gonna tell you what, Rock, since her that she's gonna pass soon. The mom is. If she don't get things settled before, she gonna be grieving the hardest.
That's
Watch,
I started to
because
say the
she
same
ain't
thing.
making peace
Right.
with her mom now
Right.
while she here.
And making
Once
peace with
mom's
her
gone,
and
once
make
mom's gone,
and the biggest piece is making peace with yourself because
exactly.
it's one thing when you like you said when she's gone, but if you haven't made peace
Mm-hmm.
with yourself, that
Mm-hmm.
will eat you up
Mm-hmm.
time and
Yes.
time again.
Yes.
And
Yeah, I think
unfortunately, she's on that path.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's
That's what I
still a
said.
lot that needs to be said between them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she's
So
it's old business. She started out seemingly like they would get through it, but she stormed out of there and let her emotions take the better of her. So yeah, that's just something that she's going to have to live with.
yeah. Well, I tell you, this was a good episode. I really,
Mm-hmm.
really enjoyed this one.
I did, but I was
Definitely
sad.
sad about Famous for sure. Sad about seeing him go. Um, Antonio Ortiz is the actor.
Mm-hmm.
To him, he did a great job these past few seasons. We actually had a run-in with him at one of the premieres for Raising Canaan, and he's just a cool dude all the way around. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of energy, like just a ball of fun to be around.
Mm-hmm.
So he will be missed as a part of this cast.
Mhm.
So yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and reiterate the who can get the hands list, I think we can put everybody on hands list this
Yeah,
episode.
what we do? We put OC,
Let's see.
OC,
um,
Kanan for skimming.
Mhm.
Candy for skimming. Yep.
Mhm.
We put the officer who was talking
Yeah,
to the
Oh yeah,
famous's
Garcia.
mom.
Garcia. Yep.
that's yeah.
Mm-hmm. Um, who else do we say? Pernessa, is that her name? Pernessa for
Vanessa.
rolling up on rock.
Run up and get
I didn't
done
get
up, Vanessa.
I wouldn't put her I wouldn't give her the hands. It's just Panessa, even if let's just say that money was coming from Rock, it's money that you need. It's money that's helping you. So what's your point? You know,
Just stop running up on her. Like
well, that's another
back
thing.
up. Like
Yeah, because yeah, I mean, your child's gonna wind up in a foster home because you're not gonna be there.
yeah, that's what I said. And Rob was like, I don't got time for this. And went in the house. I mean, but be glad that she treated you that way. And
Exactly.
didn't smackdown she did on you last time she had the black eye, remember?
Yep.
You know, so I was like,
Yeah, you need to fix
go
that.
sit down, go home to Jerome or whatever the baby's name is.
Spend that
You
money.
know, yeah.
We giving Terry the hands too for popping off at the mouth.
Yeah, he still, because it's a mistake. I almost gave Marvin the hands for that because it's going to come back to haunt them. But Terry earned his death. Like the way he ran his mouth, I was like, I don't think I can give Marv the hands for that, because he was talking about he was going to snitch and all this other stuff. I was like, I don't know.
Well, he doesn't need the hands. He's already got several bullets in his chest, so he got what he deserved.
Well, I mean that, and who else? Yeah, so
Grandma,
definitely, Grandma.
I can't
give Grandma. I can't. You ain't gonna give Grandma that.
No, I
talking
can't.
Like that.
You know why? Because I've never been. I mean, I've been through pain. I've never been through the kind of pain that would cause you to say to your child, "Take me out of here." And I don't care who you are. That's a measure that you just I can't even fathom getting to that point to, and nor do I want to. But she was at that point, that existential point that said, I would rather be dead than to live another day with this pain. And so
you can have that pain and praise him, and then turn around and berate him because
get out of my
sometimes,
sight.
But you know what? You
Sorry,
can do so much. But you know what? Just as we say about Unique's experience and how damaged he is in his way of thinking, when you're in that kind of pain, it's almost the same thing. That your way of thinking is flawed. You can be damaged in your way of thinking because you're in so much pain. And I think that's what I saw from her more so than an evil woman who was trying to get her son to do something that was illegal. I just said
she's evil, but she been berating them kids all the time. I think that's
all their life,
and that was clear because when he went to the door and he was like, because when she was first saying you're not limp and this and the other, he seemed like he was open to the fact that she was showing him some love and praising him. And then when she just tore him down like that, he looked like he wanted to turn around and say something. He was like he held himself together. But that for your mom to say that, and I understand.
And that is the only of the siblings to come in and give her any care. So, I mean, this is how you treat me, and I'm going out of my way to be here for you and cater to your every want and need. And my thing is, if you really want to be dead that bad, you said you got access to what it takes to take you out of here. Do it yourself.
It's hard to, I would imagine that would be a little difficult to do.
Yeah.
I mean, suicide's one thing.
Ask one of the nurses.
But the nurses definitely are going to do it. And if you tell the nurses, you're going to be strapped.
They ain't going to do it.
They won't do a thing. Mm-mm. So, if y'all want to give her the hands, okay.
She getting the hands.
Okay. She does deserve the hands of the way she talked to him.
I ain't wrong, but
I'm trying to give her grace because we know that she,
How about a pluck upside the head?
I'll take it.
Yeah, just give her a pluck upside the head. I think she's
all right.
Who can get the pluck?
Yeah.
No, right. But who are we giving the game ball to this episode? Cause I'm kind of at a loss on this one.
Game ball. Wow.
I don't know.
I almost want to say, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. Because I was gonna say, I almost want to say Unique because, like,
I was gonna say Unique too. He down. But I was gonna say Unique because I feel like I see the plan coming together.
Yes,
because when I saw that he went to the Italians, and then I saw that he was linking with OC, and then at the end, when I saw him link with Quan, I said, he get ready. I said, okay, what they say, city boys up. I was like, he getting ready to turn the table on Raq.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, he's going to turn the table on Raq because Quan, he ain't feeling her, so he gonna automatically side with Unique, and you know he gonna keep the secret that Unique is alive and stuff. So they can run down on Raq.
I was gonna say I can appreciate that Unique get knocked down 9 times, he get up 10. Like he always got something else lined up, and I'm like, I can appreciate that about him, that he just don't give in, and he gonna find a way.
Yeah.
Well, he's made a few mistakes for me. I don't give him a game ball. I'm gonna give Marvin the game ball. He's had to do the dirty work, and as you even said, Tiff, you know, he was the only one that was willing to help his mother in a time of her illness, and then to be given the horrible task or asked to be given that, you know, to take his mother out, and didn't do it. I have to give him the game ball for that. As much as I understand that the choice was hard for him, and I'm sure it was because he did think about it, but you know, he did the right thing, so I give him the game ball.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at Marvin. He did what needed to be done in regards to Terry, because he was gonna Raq, and he did what needed to be done in terms of mom. He was there for her in her time of need, even though she gave him a verbal lashing. He still withheld and held his composure.
Yep.
So I'm not mad at Marvin getting the game ball either. Okay.
Famous, just for RIPs.
RIPs.
Yeah. I'm controversial one. I'm still like, I'm sad for his mom. And the actress that played his mom, she really did her thing. Like when they showed the body and how she came undone and stuff, I was like, this lady is acting.
Yeah. Especially after that flashback that, you know, they had of him bringing the dog in and her letting him keep it, and then the other flashback where they had kind of reconciled after she had put him out the house, and she promised she would never put him out again. I was like, oh, she just got all these little lingering memories and all of these shoulda, coulda, wouldas.
And when he told her when he was little, he was like, you know, I'll always be here to protect you and stuff. I was like, oh. So I felt really bad for her and stuff, but I almost went controversial this one because I almost still gave her hands because you told him to snitch. You told him to snitch.
Yeah, she thought it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, she thought she was doing the right thing.
Yeah, she was just being a mother. That's all.
Yeah,
but they living outside. On the outside.
Yeah. All right. Well, one last RIP to Famous.
Yes.
So to all the viewers out there, thank you guys so much for watching. Please drop down in the comment section and give us your thoughts on this episode. Also, make sure you are subscribed to our channel, like the video, click that notification bell so you get alerted whenever we post, because we always got something up our sleeve. As a matter of fact, we got some interviews. If you look at that playlist of interviews, we have a bunch of them from some of the cast of this show as well as other shows that we recap. And definitely going to have another one dropping real soon. So you guys are not going to want to miss that. So that notification bell is very, very important. Also, make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms. We are at The Spot Real Talk on all major social media sites. And let your friends and family know, like I say, The Spot is where it's at. You know, you're going to come here, you're going to get the recaps of all the hottest shows. You're going to get some laughs. We're going to fill you in on all of our crazy theories and predictions. And, you know, it's just a good time. So why not spread the word?
Our predictions come true. So I don't care.
Most of them.
Yeah, most of them.
I mean, I thought Ronnie could breathe.
Right.
Okay. Most of them. Okay. So that's another reason to watch.
Yes, indeed. So again, we just appreciate your viewership. Thank you so much. Please continue to spread the word about The Spot Real Talk, and make sure you are back here next week, same time, same place, for a recap of episode 6. Thanks again and have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Racing to the finish line, seatbelt, fast whips, got a winning mind.